What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of I Know Chris. On the show today, my friends, we're doing something a little different. We're going to be reviewing this Keurig that I picked up back in December of 2023. So it's basically about, I would say about almost 4 months old, because I got it in the early part of December and we're already in March. So we're going to say about 4 months old. Or you can say 3.5 if that's what you want to do. Is it worth the $40 I spent back in December? Now, I did pick it up on a sale because it was during the Christmas holidays, but at Walmart's right now, this Keurig is running $59. So I brought it at $40, was a pretty good deal, I thought. But $59, $60, is it worth it? Was it even worth $40? Like I said, I'm just going to update you, let you know my experience, tell you a little bit about it, I'll show you how it runs, and then we'll go from there. So I hope y'all stick around and enjoy this review. This Keurig is the K Express Essentials. Now, it makes 3 different cup sizes. Now, some people buy the Keurigs, they are a little bit more expensive, in the hundreds of dollars, and you can get 4 or 5 different size cup sizes. You can get espresso shots, espresso makers on the side to make your espressos, all kind of stuff you can get on the more expensive ones. But this right here, I was just wanting to pick some up for myself, and you may be the same. Maybe one person or just 2 people in the household. And I was thinking, this right here looks like it'll save space on your counter, which is always important in the household, especially if you're married. And 3 cup sizes, I thought, wow, this should be good enough. Because we have 6, 8, and 10 ounce cups. Now, this is a 32 ounce water reservoir on the side. That's how many ounces of water it does hold to make coffee. Does it make coffee fast? I hear that all the time. And is it very noisy? Some people don't like that noisy coffee making machine that just and boils and grinds and makes all that crazy noise in the morning and wakes everybody else up. Some people it doesn't bother, but you know, each his own. So today we're going to test it out. I'll let you see exactly how loud it is. I don't think it's that loud, but hey, you be the judge. So I think that pretty much covers everything I can talk about that's on this box. Like I said, it does use the little K cups, and there's so many brands and varieties out there, and they're steadily growing. So we'll get into that in a few minutes, but pretty much that's pretty much all about this box. You can see the size of the box here. I turned it sideways that way. But you know, just like everybody else knows, packaging is always bigger than the actual product. So let's get this out the way. Glad it wasn't in there. Let me grab it real quick. All right, here it is, my friends. As you can see, it is very slim and small. The water reservoir is right here on the side. The water reservoir comes off very easy. It is 32 ounces of water it holds. And here's the little top of it. You can take the top, pull it off just like so, little black top, and just fill it up with 32 ounces of water. Put this back on, bring it up to the side, and just like that, it snaps into place. So the only other thing you would do after you get this full of water on the side would be pop the top and put one of your K cups inside. Now I use Dunkin' Donuts. You use whatever you want. I'll show you one of those real quick. Pretty much everybody's seen a K cup. This is the brand I use, but that is a K cup right there. Now, some coffee machines use what they call flat pods, but these use the little cups. You just pop it inside like that, push this down, and you choose your size of coffee that you want. And that's it. It will start brewing. So I know you're saying, well, let's see it do it. Okay, let's do that. And then after we do it, we'll talk more about how well this has worked for me, and do I think it's really worth almost $60 now, or should you wait for it to go back on sale? Let's brew some coffee. All right, we got the Keurig set up on the counter over here. This is not normally where I had it set up, but this is just where we're doing the demo today. But as you can see behind, there's a little lamp. I'm gonna show you. Look at the size of my hand, that lamp. How small that lamp is. That tells you how small this Keurig is. It does not take up hardly no space. The height of it, this is on a regular counter, and I'm gonna move the camera up, and you see the cabinet tops right here. It's a long ways from there. So you're really getting a lot of saved space by using this Keurig Essentials. So let's go ahead and get this thing to working. Now, like I said before, you have 6, 8, and 10 ounce sizes that you can fill up. I always go with a 10 ounce. You can use whichever one you want. It's need to add water. That's what this little light is right here. It says add water, and it has a descale. Descale is a whole nother process. That's after you probably use this Keurig, I think, 200 or more times. Then you need to descale it with either some vinegar or a descaling chemical you would run through it. That just helps this stay in good working form. Like I said, the add water light is on. So we're going to take the reservoir off the side. I showed you earlier. This is it. I'm going to take the lid off right here. I'm going to fill it up with some water, and then I'll come back and we'll put it on and we'll get this thing going. Okay, I got my water reservoir full. You can see there is a max line right here, the maximum amount of water you put in it. This right here is the minimum amount of line. When it gets right here or below this, it will shut off and tell you need to add water. I'm going to take my one hand, I'm going to grip it like this, like you would, carrying it from the sink, and show how easy it slides right into place. Just like that. let's open up the pod container, take a pod, put it inside, and inside here there is a little needle that will puncture the top part of this pod, which is this part right here. And there is a needle like this on the bottom that will punch a hole in the bottom of this pod, which will allow the coffee to brew through this K cup into your glass. So this right here, you want to make sure you clean this every time after you use this. Some people don't. They wait weeks or longer. I recommend after every use to keep it in good working fashion. So we're going to put our glass here. Like I said, we're going to go with 10 ounces of coffee. So let's go ahead and push this down. Just like so. Now we pushed it down and we're ready to go. We can choose either 10 or 8 or 6 ounces. But I got my little stopwatch here because I want to time it to show you how fast it can brew 1 10-ounce cup of coffee. So when I push this 10-ounce button, I will push the start button and we will time it. And I want you to listen and see how loud or not loud you think this Keurig is. So let's do that. As you can see, it's not very loud, other than the sound of like water pouring in a glass. But at the end, it does make a little bit more noise, but not so much. We're right at 37 seconds and still counting. You can see the smoke, I believe, coming off that. I hope you can. It is very hot. We're now just into 1 minute. That's about the most noise it makes right there. So we're finishing up at 1 minute and 18 seconds. So it took 1 whole minute and 18 seconds. This hot cup of coffee. As you can see, it is smoking hot. Some people want to know just how hot it is. So how hot does it get? As you can see right there, if it'll be still for a minute, it's right about 160 degrees. So that's pretty darn warm coffee right there. Okay, let's sit outside. Let's take the pod out. Just open it up. Now, I was telling you earlier, see the hole that punctured in the top? There's also one right there in the bottom. That's where the coffee comes out. Let's discard that and make a cup of tea real quick. So we're going to put a tea bag from one of my tea collections in here, and we're not going to put a pod in this time. We're just going to close it down and use the water from the reservoir to make a hot cup of tea. Let's do that real quick. Just pop it down, push 10 ounces, and instantly it's starting to pull the water into the machine, heating it up, and putting it into our tea. So as you can see, it's very fast. This would be maybe your second cup of coffee, or like I said, you could have a cup of hot tea and have a cup of coffee if you're into that. Maybe you have a spouse that likes tea, and maybe you like coffee in the morning. So in about 2 minutes, you can have 2 cups of coffee at 10 ounces. So there you have it. Now you have your hot cup of tea, ready to go. Add sugar or whatever you like for your sweetener, or just drink it hot like that. So there you have it, 1 cup of hot tea and 1 hot cup of coffee in about 2 minutes. That's about how quick you could have 2 hot beverages ready to go in your morning or on your weekend to relax. Okay, we've covered that. Let's move on to how well this machine has performed. So I hope y'all enjoyed this review today we've done so far. The Keurig K Express Essential. Like I said, it's very small. I demonstrated that on the countertop. It is very, very small. You have lots of empty space above this in your normal cabinets in any normal home. So you've seen how fast you can get a 10-ounce cup of coffee within a minute and a few seconds. 2 of them in 2 minutes and a few seconds. So that's pretty darn good. It's fairly quiet, I would have to say, at least in my opinion. You heard it. You let me know down in the comments if you thought it was nice and quiet. And do you think it works real good? I personally, in my opinion, of using this almost 4 months now, I really do like it. I think for the price I got it for definitely $40 in early December, I got a great deal, I believe, on this machine. So I'm not going to complain at all. How has it worked for me? I have had no issues with it. Now, I do clean it regular. Everybody don't do that. Some people use the K-Pods. I see people even leave the K-pods in. They don't take them out after they use, maybe the next day. I wouldn't recommend that. You're gonna get buildup, coffee grains maybe, and just, it's not good for the machine. Take a few seconds, clean it out. All you gotta do is take a wet paper towel, pop this open, clean the needle. The needle's right up here at the top. It's a little plastic needle, but clean it, wipe all the moisture out of this after using it, because there's water and moisture build up in there. Wipe that clean with a paper towel, wipe inside here where the pod set, it's just water. Close it back up after it's dried, take your tank off, rinse it out, and I wipe it out with a paper towel. That is it. It's very quick, very easy, and I put it away. Now, I know everybody's not going to want to do it. Some people are like, I ain't got time for that. Well, your machine may not last as long as mine if you don't do that. I can't guarantee you nothing. All I can tell you is from my experience that this machine has worked flawless. It has a little tray right here. It's a drip tray. You can also pull that off and wipe it clean after every use. If you get any drippage down there, like when you move your cup, might be a few drops of water or coffee drop down on there. There's no big deal. Wipe it out. This is almost all completely plastic. Maybe a turn off to some people. Some people don't want plastic, but I don't see a problem in it as long as the machine works properly, and it has worked wonderfully. Making hot coffee, hot tea, I really have enjoyed it. Now, you can get it in a different color. I believe they have like a red, they have like a teal green. They may have had a white, but I just went with the OG black. I like the black color. It goes good with most stuff in most people's houses. Now, the cord on this is maybe the only downside of it. It's only 16 inches long, yes. So it's not a really long cord. So it's kind of give you a little bit of shortage on where you can locate it, maybe in your kitchen. But hey, if you got an outlet in an empty corner like most people do, you're gonna be good to go. But keep that in mind, 16 inches, anything over that, you can move it, but you're gonna be stretching it, and you have that cord stretched all out. A lot of people like to have the cord hid behind their coffee machine, like it's magic, it's gone. Just like that. The little bit of shortage of the cord is the only downside I find on this machine. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much gonna wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed today this review of the Keurig K Express Essentials. It's an awesome machine. I recommend it. I wasn't sponsored by them. I brought this on my own, like I said, before Christmas, and I love the machine. Well, if you do me a favor and you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down if you didn't like this review. Maybe it was too boring for y'all. I just thought I'd bring this to you because a lot of people like coffee and a lot of people like products, so hope it was interesting. That's pretty much it. Until the next time, my friends, y'all stay safe, and as always, keep tubing.